Golden Knights having great success so far this year. Does that put any pressure on you guys to succeed?
Who are the Golden Knights? No, only pressure is that the sniping that people say you got to do as good as them.
It's just good. Vegas is treating us well, and I think the record doesn't show how hard that we work, and it's tough in that way, but it's good for us in the inner circle to understand what we have going on in Vegas, and if we just continue to trust and believe in each other, the sky's the limit for this team, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Our expectations maybe at the start of the season were a little unrealistic.
Man, we're not even worrying about the playoffs right now. What we do is we take it week by week. We gotta worry about next week. You start looking ahead and you start looking over people, you might not even make it. So
that being said, to me, Urban Meyer is one of the lowest pieces of garbage there is on this earth.
You are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports, live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network.
What up, everybody? Wednesday afternoon, just past 4 p.m. I am your host, Jose V. We are coming to you live from downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, here from the Gorilla Cross Radio Studios. You are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports with Jose V, EMB, Quan 59 behind the big board, doing what he does for us every single Wednesday night. I hope you guys are having a great midday week here already, halfway through. A lot of stuff going on in Las Vegas the last couple days. A lot of things coming up in Las Vegas this weekend, so it should be fun, man. The weather's getting nice. It's been raining the last couple days. Today's been fresh, calm, cool, collected, kind of like a California breeze, California weather, so I'm loving it. Can't complain. Ian, what's good, my guy? You've been off on vacation, and you called off of work yesterday from what you told me, so you were bugging the crap out of me, but it's all good, my guy. How are you doing today? You good?
Bro, you're not supposed to say that, man.
Bro, I don't think anybody at work watches you, bro. Come on.
Hey,
nah, I'm just kidding.
You never know. I'm doing good, man. Vacation was nice. We went to California this weekend, actually. Lil one was having a blast at the beach. Caught the NFL games. The NFL's back, so very excited about that. And we have a lot happening in our hometown, man.
Jose also once announced the girl was pregnant on a show, and she told him not to say anything.
That is true.
When they went live, he still said it.
That is true.
He had something else in the system, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
I will tell Jose was drunk that day.
It was one of those shows where alcohol was involved. Yeah. But thanks for putting me on the spot, Quan. I appreciate it. It's always good stuff.
You put me on the spot, so pay back.
It's all good though, man. If you guys are tuned in though, please do what I ask you to do every single week. Press that like, drop that comment, press that share. We'll go from there. Let everyone know what it is that you are tuned into today. And if you haven't already done so, please download the Gorilla Cross app on the Play Store, Apple or Google, Android, whatever it is that you have. The app is free. Check out the Gorilla Cross app, thegorillacross.com. All of the content they have on there, aside from our show, trust me, you will not be disappointed. A lot of good stuff on there. Let the Ball Bounce, Unnamed Sports Show, Miss Ball and D. So much things on there. It's not just us, man. There's a lot of other people on there, but we greatly appreciate you guys for joining in, chiming in, and tapping in today. We got the Facebook going, so we're on the Facebook Live, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, on all Gorilla Cross platforms. If you guys missed out on any part of the show and you want to check back on it and see what we talked about and maybe say, wait a minute, did I hear him correctly? I want to watch this one more time. We are on our personal YouTube page, Straight Bet Sports. If not, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google, wherever you like to listen. If you don't want to see our face and you just want to hear the audio, check it out there. We are there. It's free everywhere you go. So you can't complain about free, right? Everything is free nowadays, especially when it comes to all this streaming stuff. So as long as you're not doing it illegally, it's all good. But you mentioned a lot of stuff going on in the city, right? Here in Vegas. Obviously, we had Fight Week last week with some changes at the end, right, on the UFC card there.
Very
with the
exciting
whole
changes.
Nick with the Diaz and Ferguson and just, was it Chimaev, however the hell you say his name? Makajev. I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not even going to try to butcher it. Here comes Quan. Shamaev. There we go.
There we go.
Got to leave it to the UFC guy to give it to make it right. But that one kind of surprised me real quick. I know we didn't say we were going to talk about that, but if you did see, I didn't get to watch the fight, but I saw the highlights of the first round, which is basically all it was. He came out with some type of wrestling moves and some type of style that I haven't seen before. He was quick, he was fast, he was on his feet, he was all over him, and he wouldn't let him go. So interesting to see if this guy's 100% legit. He fought someone that was good, someone that was not a pushover. So we'll see what happens, man. UFC's got a lot of good stuff coming up here in the near future. I want to know when Connor's going to come back, though. That's a whole nother conversation.
Never.
And not only that,
and
this
if he
weekend,
does, it's not going to be great.
And not only that, this weekend we do have another big boxing match in town. Canelo Triple G3 finally, which we're going to talk here a little bit later on in the show. We had the WNBA finals in town, which was awesome. Aces, second time in the last 3 years in the WNBA finals, trying to get it done. Asia Wilson also gets announced earlier in the week as the WNBA MVP. No surprise to a lot of us. A lot of us knew she was pretty much it was either her or Breanna Stewart. I know I threw my hat in there for Kelsey. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Kelsey Plum and what she did this year. It's hard to not look at what she did.
I think consistency was the key with Plum. I feel like down the stretch, she had to play a little bit better if she was going to secure that. But Asia was solid all year, so like you said, no surprise.
Big shout out to Primo Eddie, always chiming in, man, since day one. Day one, 2 years plus, he's been there, man, always following us, always listening. Even with the time change, like you said earlier, some of the people here on the West Coast kind of don't really chime in as much on the 4 o'clock time because they may be working as where they liked it more on the night, but we're trying to balance it out. Some people are still following it. We appreciate you. Some people follow it later. No biggie, man. You're still watching the show and you're still supporting, so we greatly appreciate you guys. Now, let's stick to the WNBA finals.
Absolutely.
Huge series. We sell out the crowd in game 1. Record sellout in attendance, 10,000 plus. Game 2, 10,200 plus. Just a little bit more. We sell out the game again. Now, one of the biggest topics of conversation, but it really wasn't thrown out there that much, Ian, was the fact that Mark Davis decided to go to LA to watch the season opener of the Raiders versus the Chargers instead of watching his Aces in game 1 of the WNBA finals. Now,
can you blame him though?
Yes, I can, and here's why. It's game 1 of the regular season. The Raiders aren't playing game 1 of the playoffs or game 1 of the Super Bowl for that matter. They're not playing a very huge, meaningful game. I understand game 1 can start the whole process of your year and how you're going to play and set the tone. I get that. But this is game 1 of the WNBA finals. This is your first year as a owner, doing what you're doing the way you're doing it. You brought in Becky Hammond to do what you did. The team is doing everything that they've done this year. The awards that some of these ladies have won this year. But yeah, you decided to say, I'm going to go to LA. Now, I understand if the game was here in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll jump ship. Let me go to the first half. If I can make it, I'll do a quarter in Allegiant. That's just me. But at the same time, I think that people are looking into it and looking and doing way too much with it. Who cares if he was there or not? I don't think that the ladies are playing for him. I think they love Al Davis.
Well,
And here's the thing. I know they love Mark Davis. Last night in the press conference, Asia Wilson was asked about that, about how it was and the conversation that she had with Mark in LA when they went to a game before he became the owner of the Aces. And all it was about him was getting to know the league, getting to know the team, how the game is played, what it's all about, because he knew nothing about it. He didn't want to be an owner that was just going to come in and go, no, I want this, I want this, I want that. He wanted to learn. And Asia said that the fact that he wasn't trying to be someone that he wasn't coming into this league, she felt comfortable and she felt okay knowing that he was going to buy them and take over and be the new owner of that team. So I don't think that him not being there was a problem. I think the ladies totally understood it. Becky Hammond didn't make a big deal about it. None of the players made a big deal about it. So I think the media needs to just sit back and chill out. And people that have been hitting me up talking about, Jose, what do you think? I'm not tripping. I think it's an overreaction. We got to let it go. He was in attendance last night for game 2. The Aces did their thing. Now, before I let you get to it, Aces up 2-0 now, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get that sweep. We might see the Brooms here on Thursday. Game 3 is Thursday, 6 p.m. in Connecticut. Now, in this past game, the Aces had 3 players that scored 20 points each, which is the first time in finals history where 3 players did that in the same instance in a game, right? Not only that, Chelsea Gray, she's shooting 67% from the field on contested field goals. Not just from the field in general, contested field goals. The rest of the players in the series, whether it's Aces or Connecticut, 36%.
At this point, she has to get finals MVP, right, Gray?
Now, I wouldn't say that just yet, because now you have Asia Wilson. She's recorded the most WNBA Finals games with points in franchise history last night, scoring 26 points. Before her was Becky Hammond. Before her was also her tie with Becky Hammond at 24 points from a couple years back.
Yeah.
And the reason I say we got to pump our brakes here with Kelsey, with Chelsea, she's hot. She's on fire. It looks like everything she puts up is gonna go in, and you can't
not
stop
only
her.
that, but she's assisting a lot right now.
Correct.
I mean, she's averaging 7 assists per game.
Correct. She's killing it, not just scoring, off the ball, moving the ball around, on the defensive side of the ball. But what Asia's been doing defensively, rebounding, in the paint, moving the ball around, helping her teammates.
Almost 11 rebounds averaging is pretty insane.
And check this out. Since game 1 of the semifinals against the Seattle Storm, where she had 8 points, didn't score 10 or more, 8 points. She's averaged a double-double of 20 and 10 or more in the last 5 games. She is on fire. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to overlook her as the MVP.
So do you think, because I tend to agree with you, and I think that they will end up giving it to Asia, and mostly because of the fact that she already won Defensive Player of the Year. She already won MVP. Are they really going to deny her a triple crown? Because that's rare. It's rare to come by in any league.
Yeah.
So
any sport whatsoever.
it's something that if it's close, I feel like that is going to tip the balance in her favor.
So it's going to be interesting, man. Once again, Jose V, EMB, Quan59 in the studio. We got a little special guest, right? If we're being honest, we got a little special guest technically in the background hanging out with us. We got my son, Jordan. Had to pick him up today from school. You know, he's chilling. He's being a good boy on his iPad doing what he does, man. But it's always fun when you get to bring your kids to work, if you want to call it that sometimes, you know. But when they're doing good, they're doing good. But the
I'm going to jump in on the Mark Davis thing real quick.
Go for it.
Raiders are worth $5.1 billion. Aces are worth $13.7 million. Yeah. So a lot of this, he's a businessman, so he had to. There's business stuff going on there too.
There's that, and there's also just the fact that he has attended almost a lot of games.
Oh, he's at almost every home game.
He's at almost every home game.
Pretty much.
And it is week 1, game 1. You kind of have to show your presence there. Like he said, businessman. I get it. But going into the game, what type of things are you looking for them to improve on that's needed for them to seal this victory in Connecticut?
They already did. If I'm being honest with you, after watching them in game 1 and the way they played game 1, almost losing that game, almost giving it up, and having to contest a 3-pointer at the end of that game to not even go into overtime after being up big early in that game in the first quarter and then just taking a back seat to Connecticut in the second quarter. It was scary to watch. Now, they played zone defense, which was interesting to see in the finals, especially in game 1, something we haven't really seen from Becky Hammond this year because the defensive side of the ball hasn't really been the backbone for the Aces this year. It's been all scoring, all offense.
Yeah, outside of Asia, now, it's been the weaker side of the team.
The only thing that does scare me is, one, and this is just numbers, this has nothing to do with the players. Connecticut is 3-0 in games where they're facing elimination this postseason. 3-0, haven't lost. And you said it earlier. And they're heading home. They have the hometown cooking. They did really good at home when they played Chicago, and it didn't seem like an issue. Not only that, from game 1 to game 2, we've seen a different Courtney Williams. I know you have some thoughts on her too. Courtney Williams, the way that she played last night can be scary if that continues and moves into game 3 going into Connecticut. And the final thing that I think the Aces have to be worried with, they didn't produce that much last night, but they emptied their bench. Connecticut used their bench. We know Connecticut has a bench with Brianna Jones on the bench. When she comes off and she ends up being that anchor of that bench and gets hot, Connecticut can cause problems for the Aces. Now, I know last night ended up being a blowout and they were up by 20 at one point, but to take that away, if you were there live and you saw the game or even saw it on television, Connecticut was in it with them battling.
Yeah, especially during the first half of that game. My big takeaway is I agree with you. I think that they win game 3 and they just straight up sweep. However, they need to keep up the intensity on offense, and then 2, they have to start transitioning a little bit faster to the paint, in my opinion, and they have to push out Williams to the perimeter a little bit more. They're allowing too many mid-level jumpers for Williams, and she's hitting them. So if they can contain Williams, I think this is a wrap.
And then Chris Wynn chimes in on Facebook. He says, the only thing that sucks is that if they win the title, they're going to win it on the road. It'd be nice for them to win it here. But at the end of the day, you don't want to see that. We don't want to see 5 games. You don't want to push it to the brink and then go, you were up 2-0. And another thing, too, no team has ever come back to win a series after going down 0-2 in a best-of-5 series in WNBA history. They are 0-15. Now, Again, history's made to be broken.
Yeah, nah.
The Yankees were up 3-0.
Let's not start that, man.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm rooting for the Aces. I've been saying it since day one. The Aces will be the first professional team to bring a championship here, and we're one game away from it. I'm not saying that they're going to do it because I don't want to jinx them. It's still not over. The ladies even said it in the press conference last night. We still have a lot of work to do. Now, last night I also got an opportunity in the press conference to speak to Becky Hammon and just ask her about De'Arica Hamby. De'Arica Hamby was hurt. She came back late in the series against Seattle. She's been playing a lot more. So we got her thoughts here last night at the post conference for Game 2 of the WNBA Finals.
Next question, third row to your left, Becky. Becky Jose Bononte, Straight Bet Sports. De'Arica Hamby gave you 18 solid minutes off the bench tonight. Is it safe to say that she's 100% in back for you guys now?
She looks pretty good to me. She keeps playing like that. She's going to keep playing. Her minutes have been impactful. We're still trying to get her cardio back a little bit. I know she got dog tired one time. I tried to get her out as soon as possible, but yeah, I mean, she's been a difference maker in the series. There's no doubt about it.
Once again, Becky Hammon, Las Vegas Aces head coach last night, talking about De'Arica Hamby. She's happy, man. She's good with her being back. She's been the difference maker, even though on the stat sheet, it's not about the points and everything else. She's been a disruptor. Some of the rebounds that she's getting, some of the fouls that she gets, not called on her, but on the opposite side, you know, that she gets the contact, that she gets to draw in. So it's going to be an interesting finals to watch here in Game 3. I'll be honest with you. I think Connecticut can get one, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they close it out. Seeing Aja Wilson in the last 2 games, in the press conference, the way she's spoken to the media, her attitude, her body language, how vocal she's been. She literally said straight out, I had to cuss out Kelsey before the game just to let her know, hey, it's time to get it going. She normally doesn't do that. She's a leader, but she's like she's a tamed leader. She's very calm. It's very rare for you to see her get that way. Yeah. So I think that her winning the MVP, just like she did 2 years ago in the bubble, and then having that bad taste in her mouth, knowing we didn't win, but now I've taken out some of my opponents that I really wanted to get out of the way to prove to people we can beat good teams and win a great championship. I'm good with the Brooms. Bring them out. Las Vegas Aces Thursday night, tomorrow night from Connecticut, taking on the Sun for Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. Make sure you guys check in and tune in and support your Aces. We got a parade coming, man. Call me crazy. Whatever you want to say, it is what it is. I think it's happening. But we got to move on to some other conversations here. Obviously, we got NFL, we got MLB, we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about, Canelo, Triple G, like I said. But one of the things that I did want to talk about is baseball real quick. We have a guy in Aaron Judge who now has 57 home runs, 20 more homers than anyone else in MLB, Kyle Schwarber, with 37 right behind him. It's the first time a player has finished a calendar day with 20-plus home run lead over anyone else. The last time it happened was 1928 when Babe Ruth did it. So he was up by 23 homers. Judge is up by, what he's at right now. It's going to be fun to see where he ends at, Ian, if we're being honest, whether you're a Yankee fan or not. A lot of people weren't Barry Bonds fans, Giants fans, but they were Barry Bonds fans, and they rooted for the guy, whether you believe the steroids or not. Everybody was on them. You can't blame him for that.
So speaking of steroids.
But hold on. But I'm not going to throw the steroid thing out there because I don't want to have that conversation.
I'm not either, but I do want to kind of bring it up a little bit.
But Aaron Judge is on pace right now to be the all-time AL home run leader. Mm-hmm. He's trying to break Roger Maris's record from 1961 when he originally had the record of 61, which I think he'll break. 57, he needs 4 more. And he's got, 19 games left to play, give or take. Yeah. I think he'll break it. It's crazy at the pace that he's been on. And think about it. He slowed down for a bit.
Yes.
He slowed down for a bit. If he didn't have that little slump, he'd probably already be at past 60 right now.
And it's also the fact that he's hitting 310 right now as well. So, he's batting over 300. He has 57 home runs. It's probably going to continue. My thing about that is, it seems that, for instance, Albert Pujols, the next guy we're about to talk about, he has 18 home runs, right? He's an older guy. He's been in the league forever. There's already starting to see, a little bit of headlines, inklings, right, about him possibly juicing. I don't believe it, but I'm just saying there's already the little hint of it, right?
It's bringing back the Raul Ibanez days.
My question is, why isn't that a thing with Aaron Judge? Not that I think that he is on steroids. I'm just saying, why isn't more people curious if he is or not? Because it seems to me that sometimes with Yankees, especially, those accusations and those curiosities per se come at the end of people's careers or after they're retired. Whereas other players, it seems like they're more inclined to just throw out the steroid.
And that's the thing. And you just said it. The fact that Albert Pujols is at the end of his career. Look at what he hasn't been able to do the last couple years. But yet all of a
he
sudden.
Hasn't been healthy, though, for the last couple of years.
I get that. But even when he was healthy, as he got older, as his play declined, it's rare to see him hit 18 home runs the way he's hit them now.
This is the first year that we have designated hitters, though, as well.
But they've also brought him in a lot of pinch hitting situations. A lot of his home runs are pinch hit home runs.
I know.
So that's why
that's what I'm saying. That's a whole different situation.
But that's the thing. You said it. The fact that he's at the tail end of his career. Aaron Judge is not. Aaron Judge is in his prime or whatever it may be. That's why that conversation always comes up. Is it BS? Is it horrible? Is it bad for the game? Of course. But it always happens, Ian. You know that. Do I believe that Albert Pujols is on the juice? No, 100%. I think he's clean. I honestly do.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he now can designate hit. He's not out there all the time. He's not at as much risk for injury as he has been in his career. So it brings that level of, hey, you're an older player, but you can still slug it out every once in a while. Let's put you in the lineup smart, and you can hit them. So I do think that Pujols, I think he breaks 700 this year. He's 3 away. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Like you said, there's 19 games left. So I think he hits that. But it is concerning me that there are those accusations because I just don't think that it's fair to the accomplishments of the player. This player is beloved. Like you said, a lot of people weren't fans of the Giants, but they're fans of Barry Bonds. That needs to continue with Albert Pujols. I feel like people need to just acknowledge his accomplishments without the accusation.
So let's stop beating around the bush. You think Aaron Judge is on the juice?
Possibly.
Really?
Possibly.
No hesitation.
Possibly.
Why? Just because of the streak that he's on?
No, not necessarily. I actually think that I think that there's the possibility that he has in the past as well. My thing is he came out of the minors and then just it clicked for him just out of nowhere. And to me, that's kind of a rarity. But we'll see if he continues, and the streak he's on is a little bit ridiculous. I'm just gonna say it,
bro. It's always ridiculous. It's ridiculous when anybody does it.
If he continues this pace, you're talking about possibly 65, 70 home runs for the year.
So we're at 57. He's got about 19 games left. 19. 10. I can see him hitting at least 8 more home runs. I can see him hitting at least 8 more.
Okay.
I think he'll finish at around 65, give or take.
Chris Wynn says, we are forgetting that he is a physical freak. That is true. I mean, the guy is 6'7", 250 pounds. He is a monster. I'm not going to deny that. But he also was in the minors for a while. I mean, he came out around 25 years old and just started hitting home runs like nothing when contact hitting was something that he struggled with in the minors. So it seemed like his hitting, his slugging percentage, it just went up tenfold of what he was doing in the minors. So
look, I don't have it in front of me.
Sometimes it just clicks in front of players. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see when his career starts headed to the tail end what happens with that. But I mean, kudos. 57 is crazy. Very few players end up hitting 40 in a year. So if he breaks 60, hits 65, I mean, if this guy even goes past that, then I think if he hits 70, then there's going to be an issue.
Wow, Primo Eddie actually agrees with you. Yeah. That's a highlight in itself.
Right?
I don't think he's ever agreed with you. Chris Wynn says it's not like Judge is a skinny runt like Brady Anderson was. I remember that guy. Yeah. But look, I don't think Aaron Judge is on the juice, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think Albert Pujols is on the juice. And here's why. These guys get tested throughout the year now. Testing has changed compared to what it was back in the day.
Yeah, but we know those tests are kind
back in the day, you can go a whole season without getting tested. as we're now, guys get tested throughout the year.
Yeah, but Yankees guys get tipped off before they get tested. So
again, I understand that there's ways around it. Lance Armstrong proved us all wrong. I get that. I'm never gonna deny that. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he's on the juice. I think the way MLB has done it now, you are still gonna see guys come out. Obviously, we saw Fernando Tatis. You know, he got suspended again. What he did, testing positive again with the Padres. I think it's the second time already that it's happened to him for substance abuse. So there are going to be those guys, you know what I mean, that get caught. But I don't think it's going to be as much as we saw before because a lot of guys are getting tested more often now. Now, if Aaron Judge or even Pujols were to happen to come out that they were on steroids at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. Does the name Rafael Palmeiro ring a bell to you? Baltimore Orioles? He was on a tear in his last season. He was killing it in front of the cameras, loving it, doing everything. And then it came out that he tested positive. He got suspended for the rest of the season. And what did he do? He pointed his little finger at Congress. You haven't seen the guy since. So I understand. It could still happen. But I think the Albert Pujols situation is the Raul Ibanez situation. I think he's clean, a guy that's just figuring it out at the end.
I agree with the Pujols. I think it's a higher chance that Judge is juicing than Pujols, definitely.
No,
but I'm not. Listen. I am not saying that either player is or isn't. I'm saying that.
You know you are.
No, I'm really not. I'm saying there's a possibility. The thought has crossed my mind. I'm not going to sit here and throw those accusations because I don't know the guys, and also because they're physical freaks. I mean, Pujols back in his prime was an absolute monster. If he can just step up to the plate and hit, who knows? Maybe he can extend this 2 more years.
Once again, Jose V, EMB, Quan59. You are tuning to Straight Bet Sports live here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. Chopping it up, man. Talking some baseball. It's going to be an interesting stretch to the season, man. Dodgers already clinched. They're the hottest team in baseball. They're killing everybody, doing what they're doing quietly. Not too many people are really even talking about the little streak that they had. So it's going to be fun to see. Can the Yankees still hold off and win that division? What will they do in the playoffs? Atlanta, New York, with the Mets there. That division is getting rough, too. What's going to happen? Who's going to prevail? Who's going to come out of there? Milwaukee basically took a back seat to St. Louis and said, hey, you guys could have the division. So now it looks like the Cardinals are going to get into the postseason and get Albert one more chance of possibly winning a World Series. Not only him, Yadier Molina, the catcher. It's also his final year, farewell tour. And we're not even talking about that guy because he's been injured, hasn't played that much. So
and then
I think
after
there's
the
so
season,
many
we're
stories.
going to have to talk about how the Padres never lived up to the expectations.
And they never do.
Deadline.
I've been saying it every year. They spend the money.
Bad.
They spend the money.
Bad.
They bring guys in. And then even with the Juan Soto thing, you're saying before the Juan Soto thing, all the money they spent to bring this team together, and it didn't happen, or it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But well, we got Chris chiming in again. Can we talk Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles? We're going to get to that one because I know you want to talk about that. We're going to get to some NFL talk, definitely. But look, this weekend coming up, we got a big fight here in Las Vegas. Third time around that this happens. Third time around, but it's like the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. It's a bit too late if you ask me, right? We know the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight happened, but it happened at a time where we wanted to see it 5-6 years prior to that, right? This is a fight in Canelo Triple G that we're seeing, part 3, that we should have seen possibly months after the second one happened, right? This shouldn't have been years in the making. The last time they fought was 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
This should not have been a 4-year in the making fight. You have, and let me get my thoughts out. Let me get my thoughts out on this, and then I'll let you talk about the fight. You have a guy in Triple G that is about I think he either hit 40 already or he's about to hit 40. You have a guy in Canelo, which hasn't even, what is he, in his late 29, 30 years old?
Yeah.
He's still in the prime of his career. Now, I know Canelo lost to Bivol, and a lot of people made it seem like, oh, that's it. Canelo's on the back burner now. He's not the same guy anymore. He's going to start taking a step back. He doesn't really care about the sport. I think that's BS. I just think he got bored, and there was really nobody else for him to fight that can live up to his expectations or the money on the pay-per-view expectations.
He's 40.
He's 40. There we go. Triple G's 40. Now, Triple G is the champ coming into this fight. That's another thing. So they're fighting for a belt, right? So this fight, not only does it have relevance because of the live up to the third fight, but because of the fact that there is a belt involved in it, right? Now, here's the next thing. I think, just going based off of controversy, whatever you want to think, conspiracy theories, looking on the outside in, right? That if this fight goes the distance, call me crazy. This fight goes the distance and Triple G looks The way he looked in the first fight, which I don't care what anybody says, Triple G won that first fight. It was either a draw or Triple G won. Canelo did nothing to prove that he won that fight. I honestly think if Triple G has that type of fight again this time around, the judges will give it to him. Why? Because who else is out there for Canelo to fight in any weight division right now? Nobody. And what I mean by that, not nobody to disrespect any boxer, but nobody that boxing fans really want to see or spend their money on. I'm sorry for saying this, but if Canelo fights someone else that's not Triple G or another big name that people like,
Nobody
people
cares.
are going to be streaming it for free and not paying for these pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now, you want to sell these pay-per-views? You want to sell the gate? You want to sell these tickets? If this does happen, there is no other fight but round 4, and you have to fight Triple G again. Now, I think the reason this fight came to fruition is not because Canelo wants it.
No.
It's not because Triple G wants it.
No.
It's not because the fans want it. It's not because DAZN wants it. It's not even because the boxing federations want it. It's because Canelo knows that this is the only biggest possible payday he can get at this current moment. There is no other fighter on the planet that is at Canelo's level that he is going to make the type of purse that he is going to make in this fight.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, my big thing of this is Canelo is still technically in his prime. Triple G is definitely not. Yeah, then they say maybe it's because of COVID that they ended up postponing this fight, but this fight still should have probably happened in mid 2019, a full year and a half after. It shouldn't have been 5 years. I get it. There's a 2-year period. It still shouldn't have been 3 years. So my big thing about this is it's a money grab, but I also feel like this is them. Yeah, I think the federation does want it because I think there is a sense that they almost want Canelo not to be the face anymore, so they can kind of build someone else up. So
I think you're crazy because you told me that earlier that they don't want Canelo to be the face of boxing anymore.
I don't think they want
That's
him to be
insane.
the face. Yes, he sells, but like you said, outside of Triple G, who are they going to put him against that actually makes some money? Whereas if they build someone else up, right, like they tear Canelo down, they build someone else up, then they can start having some more like high level pay-per-view fights available. Right now, they have to bring old timers to come back and fight a fight that should have happened 3 years ago.
And here's the thing too: the promoters are smart, man. They're really smart. If you think about it, when are we doing it right now? We're gonna do this fight right around same thing, Mexican Independence Day, right? Same exact concept. And think about it. I know Triple G's from Kazakhstan, but he's Hispanic, and you know what I mean, Jay. Jay's in the studio now with us. He showed up madrazos, but you know what I mean by that.
Sir.
This guy started his career fighting at the Great Western Forum. Friday night fights, Saturday night fights. Who goes there? I'm from South Central LA. A bunch of Hispanics, Mexicans, Salvadorians that love boxing. So who's his fan base? Hispanics. Triple G has Mexicans that support him and don't support Canelo Alvarez. So that's why I think that the promoters know what they're doing. This was the only money grab fight that they can afford to sign at this very moment. Now, I don't have the details. I'm not sure what the purse is like. I'm pretty sure Canelo's going to get the most of it, but I'm pretty sure Triple G didn't bend over and just take it and not say, hey, you're not going to give me anything here. You're going to pay me too. I'm the champ, because he's technically, if you want to be technical about it, he's the A side. He's the champ going into this fight. Now, what do you think's going to happen this weekend, bro?
I mean, like you said, it's the Mexican Independence Day, and all, a lot of Latin countries are, they support, and honestly, I wish he would have got his rematch, Canelo, just to prove everybody, like, hey, I'm still the top dog, but we're gonna get this fight a little bit later, and I got Canelo.
You got Canelo by knockout or going the distance?
Going the distance. He's been liking on the knockouts recently, like he's just been.
So look, I'm gonna tell you this, and then I want you to tell me what you think's gonna happen this week, and I'll give you my prediction. I love Triple G. I got nothing against the guy. I've kind of drifted away from Canelo a bit. I wish that Triple G wins this fight. I really do. I wish that he would come out and show a great performance and show that he's worthy of actually saying, I'm the champ, I beat Canelo. But the guy's 40 years old now. He's been through a couple brawls since Canelo. Even though he stayed active and he stayed more active than Canelo, I think that's what's going to hurt him. I think the fact that Canelo picked and chose his fights, even though they were good fights. They weren't BS fights. He picked and chose and took his time and separated it out so he didn't have to fight too often. I think it's going to help him out a little bit. And I think Canelo just wants to come out and prove, hey, you know what? I can actually beat this guy and not have anyone have doubt in the back of their head. Call me crazy. I think Canelo wins by knockout in this fight. What are your predictions?
I think Canelo takes this by round 3, 2 or 3. I don't think this goes the distance.
Jesus, 2 or 3?
2 or 3.
Yikes. I didn't even say that. I just said
talking
knockout.
about,
to the point.
You're talking about almost a 10-year difference. That it gets to a certain age where that 10-year difference is no longer just a small gap. When you're talking about like a 30-year-old and a 4-year-old, and you're also talking about fighters that are active versus not active. Like I don't know. I just think that Canelo is going to come out swinging hard, and he catches Triple G with one of those, he's going to go down. I don't think he's going to be able to take it anymore.
And before we move on from this, I want to comment on what Chris Wynn just said. He said that Triple G should pull Mayweather versus De La Hoya and come out with a Mexican sombrero. I agree. Triple G, you may not see this, but if you do, please come out in a big, giant Mexican sombrero with Kazakhstan and Mexican colors. That would be trippy, bro.
The whole outfit.
The whole outfit, right? Just see how it,
remember when he came out? He did
Floyd the whole leather outfit. It was insane, bro. That was crazy to watch. And not too many boxers do that style and that pizzazz when you're coming in anymore, like back in the days. I remember Hector Macho Camacho coming in and doing a bunch of crazy stuff and all that. But I think boxers kind of got to get into the sportsmanship of it a little bit more. But it's going to be fun, man, here in Las Vegas. Triple G Canelo, part 3. Who will come out on top? Who will be victorious? That is yet to be seen. But once again, Jose V, EMB, Quan 59, Jay Madrazo's up in the studio. 702-608-3259 is the phone number if you want to give us a call, chime in, tune in.
Definitely. We need some calls, man.
Complain.
Hey, Chris, you want to call
maybe you
in?
hate us. Maybe you hate what we're talking about. Maybe you think we're dumb. I don't know. But, we want to hear it all. Because sometimes being honest with people is okay. You may not like me.
Opinion.
I may not like you. You may not like my opinions.
Speaking of honest, how did your fantasy team do this week?
So, since we're gonna get into football, so yes, Ian did beat me, and let me get this straight.
How much by?
Hold on. This is one thing he's not gonna tell you guys. This is one thing he's not gonna tell you guys. The league that we're playing in is a free league. I didn't even have to pay to get in the league. So he's acting like he won a Super Bowl in a free league.
This is what Jose's not going to tell you. It's still a payout league.
Now,
so if it's free, then let's
still payout
let's
league.
raise it up. Let's do it better. Let's make it a little interesting.
Okay, how about this? Why not? You know what?
Instead of free, let's make it interesting.
See, that's why I want you on the show. You got to do things like this. Okay, so we're gonna do that.
Why not?
Jay said
all right,
this.
let's see. It's free then.
So okay, you beat me in week 1 in that league, and Sosa World League 2. I'm 0-1. You're 1-0.
Yeah.
I'll make you a bet right now. Even with me being 0-1 and you being 1-0, I'll make you a bet. $25. You good with that? You down with that? Is that too rich for your blood?
That's too rich.
$20?
I don't bet like that.
$20?
Maybe.
I'll make it even easier. We'll just do lunch.
I
We'll do lunch.
money between
We'll
friends,
do
man.
lunch. No money, just lunch. All right? I'll give you a
We
bet
can do lunch.
that I will finish with a better record in that league than you will this season.
No, you won't.
Deal?
Yeah.
Deal? All right, you guys heard it. Madrazos made it happen.
We'll make a lunch.
Now, in the
down with
paid leagues,
he went 2-0.
the Wise Guys Diamond Club League that I went in, I 1-0. The other paid league that I have with Rob G, same thing, 1-0. And not only that, in both leagues, by the way, I was the #1 team percentage and everything wise, just to throw that out there.
In our league, he was literally the worst out of every single player.
It's okay. Now, another thing too that I would say, when it comes to NFL football, right? We got to get into some NFL football, obviously fantasy bets, whatever you want to call it. Break it down the slate. Baltimore took out the Jets 24-9. We knew that was going to happen. Chargers taking out the Raiders 24-19 in LA. Raiders couldn't pull off the victory there. Tough game to watch. Offensive line needs help. Derek Carr did not look as good as I expected. We'll talk about that shortly. San Francisco goes down to the Chicago Bears on the road 19-10. I think that's another overreaction game. Too many people talking bad.
On the road in the rain.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. I think another overreaction game. Too many people talking a lot about Trey Lance.
Rain gate.
You've never played a football game in your life in pro, so you can't speak about that. Neither have I, so I can't talk about the guy.
Neither has Quan.
Pittsburgh going on the road to Cincinnati and beating the Bengals. Tough game for Joe Burrow there, man. Getting sacked, I believe,
Definitely.
five turnovers.
That's
Still
the crazy
almost
part.
won.
They still almost won.
And then obviously the game you don't want to hear about, your Philadelphia Eagles looking great on defense, 38 points, but giving up 35 on offense, but giving up 35 points to the Detroit Lions. A lot of people are jumping on the Lions bandwagon here and on the train saying that they're not the same old Lions. They lost. They're still the same old Lions, regardless of the fact that they lost by 2 or 3 or by a touchdown. Now, yes, your defense looks a little bit suspect here, which we're going to talk about shortly because I know you want to give your thoughts.
In certain ways, they're better. Certain ways,
it's not necessarily the unit. It's more the coaching that we're going to talk about.
I think it's a lot of kinks that they have to work out, a lot of rust from week 1. Never played preseason, so.
And then Mac Jones goes down for the New England Patriots, got back problems. Miami takes that one 20-7 at home, giving McDaniels, I believe that's his name, right? The new head coach there, giving him his first win. And I believe that's the first win for a Miami head coach on opening day in 6 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Washington Commanders take out the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. I was following that game while I was at the WNBA Finals. That was a really fun game to watch. Back and forth. You saw a lot from Trevor Lawrence that you finally wanted to see that we have not seen. So that's good there. Carolina and the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield almost had an opportunity there to win the game at the end. Doesn't pan out the way he wanted. 26-24.
Won on kickers' legs this week.
Lot of field goals late there to win. Indianapolis and Houston making it a game late, but couldn't do anything in overtime. 20-20 final there. We have our first tie of the season in week 1. The New York Giants get their first win of the season.
By 1 point.
21-20 over the Tennessee Titans. We have problems in Tennessee. Get ready. I think we're going to see Willis pretty sooner than we expected. But you know what? It's good to see Saquon Barkley back healthy and looking really, really good for that Giants team. The Green Bay Packers, man, coming out and looking like the team that a lot of people expected. No weapons for Aaron Rodgers. No help whatsoever. Aaron looking frustrated. But aside from that, Ian, aside from not having people to catch the ball, that offensive line looks horrible, and he needs a lot more help. Minnesota coming out 23-7 on top there. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson looking like an absolute beast. If you got him in fantasy, looks like you did a good thing there. Kansas City Chiefs just annihilating the Arizona Cardinals, 44-21.
Double XP weekend, so
double XP weekend.
Murray's not going to do anything on those weekends. So.
And then not only that, I went back on this game and I'm sitting there going, people are talking about his contract, how he has to study film, this, and that. I saw a few plays and a couple of situations. There were times where he could not read coverages. And there was times where he had to call hot routes or certain things and was not moving his receivers.
There were simple coverages that he was not reading the blitz on, and it was definitely concerning if you're a Cardinals fan.
Oh, if you're a Cardinals fan, definitely concerning there. Arizona just not looking good. They put up 21 points, but that was basically in garbage time towards the end, and we know Kansas City can't give up those type of garbage time points. Tampa Bay going into Dallas and beating Dallas again for the second year in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Tampa Bay played Dallas last year.
They barely beat them last year.
This year, even though it was 19-3,
it was bad.
Tampa didn't look that great either, if we're being honest.
No,
Brady looked frustrated at times with the offensive line and the receivers as well. And we saw what happened to Dak. Now, I know I said that the Cowboys were going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. Mad Dog.
What?
Yeah, remember we said it last week.
Yeah,
Come on, I know it's crazy.
I mean,
Mad Dog on first take said the same thing. He was with it, but here's the thing:
such a crazy take that it just kind of like went out of my mind.
It just went over the window.
Don't ever
really
reference Mad Dog in sports. That guy's horrible.
I know he is. And then the final game obviously was on Monday night. Russell Wilson coming back home to Seattle. He had a record-breaking game for the Denver Broncos, over 300 passing yards, did something that no other quarterback has done for them in week 1 in their first game with his first team.
The coach absolutely lost that game.
And the coach came out and admitted that, which I'm okay with that. Yeah. But hey, Geno Smith, first half, looked very serviceable. Looked comfortable. I believe completed his first 13 passes, wasn't it? Or 7 passes, excuse me, in the first quarter. So interesting stuff to watch there. I don't think that Seattle's going to do much. What you got, Quan?
The coach should not have admitted he was wrong.
No.
You have to say, that's the play I wanted. I'm sticking with it and go with that. Even in your head, if you thought it was wrong, that's your first game. You look hella weak, and that's your first game. That's no. We all know it was a mistake, but don't admit that.
Yeah. And for instance, for people that didn't see the game or don't know what we're talking about, 4 and 5, I think they had 1 minute and 11 seconds left, and instead of calling a timeout and trusting your $245 million quarterback to try to convert a 4 and 5, they let their kicker, who has never converted over 60 yards, try a 64-yarder, which is outside of Justin Tucker's
He was like
kick last year.
He's 1-8 for 60. And
1-8.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1-8
in Seattle,
over
you're kicking
60
it too. Jeez.
in Seattle. Just that's never a good option, but especially with your quarterback who had played pretty well all game. You have to just trust it in his hands.
Against his
you
old
have
squad.
You have to live or die by your quarterback at that point.
So
You're paying him all that money, and you can't trust a kicker that's not consistent on those type of kicks anyways.
So I'll give you my takeaways from week 1. Baltimore, New York. Joe Flacco should not be throwing the ball 50-plus times, and that offensive line looks horrible. I feel bad for Breece Hall. That young man deserves a lot better. He could be a great running back in this league. Yet to see what happens when Zach Wilson comes in. And yes, I agree with Chris Wynn and Primo Eddie. Derek Carr lost and gave that game away for the Las Vegas Raiders against the Chargers. New Orleans proved that when they have their actual weapons and Mike Thomas, that they can be legit. I've been hard. I've been tough. I've been critical of Jameis Winston. But I like what
Falcons,
I saw.
bro.
I understand that.
They're
It
down
does not matter.
and they were 23.
It does
they're
not
down
matter.
23-7
And I'll put it to you this
point.
way. They were down by 16 points at one time. They were plus 525 in game.
Yeah.
I took them because I saw the way they were playing, and I said, they're going to come back and win this game. Sure enough, they do.
It's Falcons. They gave up 28-3
Let me finish.
in
It
the
doesn't
Super
matter.
Bowl, man.
This doesn't matter. It's a whole different Falcon team. It's not the same team. Chicago, San Francisco. I know Trey Lance didn't look the greatest. The weather was horrible. First game out there. Don't take anything from it. I don't say that the kid's going to have issues. I think it's an overreaction. Way too many people saying this is what we started him for. This is what we decided to go with instead of Jimmy G. I think it's a big, big overreaction. I think he'll be fine. I think the San Francisco 49ers will be fine. I think Chicago looked good, but I think Chicago is one of those teams that even though they won, will start going backwards for the rest of the regular season. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, I like what I saw from Mitchell Trubisky at the end of that game to win the game, and here's why. He understood the clock. He understood the position and what was going on. I think a rookie quarterback wouldn't have known that, wouldn't have been able to bring his team down towards the end to make that type of kick to win the game. Joe Burrow needs to figure it out, and the offensive line needs to figure it out as well, because if he keeps getting hit the way he's getting hit, not going to be a good season for them. I like what I saw in Philly. I'm not going to lie to you. I know you and I go back and forth, and we banter, and we talk bad about each other on our teams, but you know what? Philly looks great on offense. Got to figure it out a little bit on defense. You can't let anyone, even if it's Detroit or if it's the Patriots or Tampa, you can't let anyone score that many points on you, especially in week 1.
17 points in the fourth quarter.
That could be
way
very
too
troubling.
Much,
Miami,
14 points.
Miami looked good. I'm not going to lie. The way that they're playing under head coach right now, it looks like they're having a good time. They're enjoying themselves. Only 20 points, though. I want to see a lot more from that offense there. But I like what I saw overall. Washington and Jacksonville, I think that out of these two teams, Jacksonville had the better game. Even though they lost, I like what I saw from Trevor Lawrence. We've seen a lot more growth from him, and I think he's going to have a better season this year. Very promising from what we saw from Jacksonville, a lot better from what we saw with freaking Urban Meyer last year. So it's good to see Jacksonville moving in the right direction. Cleveland and Carolina, this is a situation where I think also Carolina is going to end up being the better team moving forward in the regular season, coming away from this game. I think Baker showed I can still be a leader. I can still come out and win a game. And Robbie Anderson also showed I'm that guy that can still take it deep when you need me to and make that big play and score that touchdown. Indy and Houston, I don't like anything I saw from this game whatsoever. I don't really have much take back from there. I think Matt Ryan needs to figure it out and do something better with that offensive side of the ball, and the defense needs to figure it out as well. New York Giants, Tennessee. Tennessee's in trouble big time. They are not looking good whatsoever. It's good to see the Giants back and winning in the win column, especially in week 1. I hope Saquon Barkley stays healthy, because I think this team goes as far as Saquon Barkley goes. Minnesota and Green Bay. Green Bay's in trouble. Brett Favre needs weapons, and he needs weapons now. Minnesota looks legit, and Justin Jefferson looks scary. If you don't have him on your fantasy team, and for some reason he's there, pick him up.
So this is where
you said Brett Favre.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is where we're going to slightly disagree.
Hold on, let me finish the last two.
All right.
Kansas City and Arizona. Arizona's in trouble. I think Arizona has a decline from what they had last year. Kansas City looks good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I told you, I have him on 2 of my fantasy teams. He looked great, and I think he is going to be the guy that's going to take over for what Tyreek Hill was doing. Pacheco is going to do good, but he's going to be more of the running guy. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire just gives you a whole lot more.
Back.
Tampa, Dallas, don't know what to take from that game just yet, if I'm being honest with you. Denver, Seattle, I think Denver will be okay. even though they had this loss, Russell Wilson looks good. First game, I think the offense still needs to figure it out, and the defense looks horrible. You cannot let a team like Seattle look as good as they did against you in week 1, but that's what I got for week 1 so far, man.
So week 1's always the week for overreactions, right? I think overall the games were competitive, fun, but there's a lot of rust league wide. But the Vikings-Packers game is the one that I want to talk about first. I went back and rewatched that game. The Vikings, to me, their pass rush was very average. But like you said, the Packers O-line is bad, like really bad. Like Aaron Rodgers is going to be in trouble. His receivers tend to, I mean, you had the really bad drop by Watson. That took 7 points off the board. There's a couple of key third downs where he threw it to a receiver that didn't seem to know his route, or he's just straight up dropped it. So there's going to be a lot of growing pains, I think, with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that they're going to have a lot of problems. That D-line looks suspect. The secondary looks somewhat okay. But there's a lot of, like, Jefferson is a monster, but there's a lot of blown coverages. Like, just straight up blown coverages from the gate, rather than him just beating his guy. He did beat his guy quite a lot, and it was Jared Alexander. But there's a lot of blown coverages. Scheme-wise, I don't think that it's the right fit for a lot of the players there. And so I think the Vikings are worse than people are going to think they are because they beat the Packers, and I think the Packers are a lot worse than people think they are.
Yeah, man, they're in trouble.
But then again, the Packers looked absolutely horrible last year when they lost 3-38 against the Saints last year. So week 1, they'd never played well, so it could be overreaction there. Detroit Lions, I think they're going to actually be a lot better than people are giving them credit for. They played really fast. They played with a lot of intensity. The crowd there seems energetic with everything the team's done, but also with Hard Knocks. It was a sold-out crowd, very loud. A lot of beat writers said it was the loudest they've ever heard any stadium. So I think the Lions are going to be a lot better. They have speed. Aaron Glenn is probably going to be a head coach after this year because he is very, very creative on defense, making different blitzes, overloading sides. He does a lot of that. And also on offense, I think a lot what Dan Campbell was doing was very smart. They got us moving. Now, Eagles run stopping is very sus. I think that is a coaching scheme, not necessarily a personnel scheme, because when we had the right personnel in there and the right scheme, it seemed like we were able to stop them. But there's a lot of times where you're overloading the responsibilities on the safeties and DBs, and that's just a hard place to be in, especially against a back that is as talented as DeAndre Swift. Or is it DeAndre Swift? What's his first name?
Swift. I forgot the first name, but I know it's Swift.
Yeah.
I forgot the first name. But look, man, we got to finish up with the NFL because we got to give our picks here towards the end. Picks real quick. But I want to run down the slate real quick. Okay. We're not going to talk point spreads. We're just going to give fire, rapid. Who do you like? That's it.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, pues Primo Eddie already asked. Okay. Chargers versus Kansas City. I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Keenan Allen is out. I think that's huge for the Chargers. I think the Chiefs win this game. Who you got?
I have the Chargers. I think their defense is going to be a problem. I think their defense is just a lot better than Arizona's, and I think that the Chiefs are good, but I think a little bit of their success was full school. So I have the Chargers.
We're going to get your pick of the week at the end, so don't worry. I got you. So you got time to look up your pick because we didn't get it last week, but we're going to start adding you to that. Sounds now. Good. Dolphins-Ravens, I think this is a coin flip. I think it's a tough game. Dolphins look good week 1. So did the Ravens, but the Ravens played the Jets. Dolphins played the Patriots, which didn't look that great either. Give me the Ravens. I think the Ravens win this game.
We're not doing lines. We're just doing
just winning. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think I like Ravens as a team better, but Miami seems to have Lamar Jackson's number whenever they play, so I have Miami.
All right, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, no doubt about it. Give me the Cleveland Browns. I think the Jets go 0-2, Browns go 2-0.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns here too.
Easy, right? Nothing else to talk about there. Commanders, Lions. This is another huge game here. Lions coming in as 1.5 favorite. I know we're not talking about the point spread, but just letting you know what is out there. Commanders won their first game. Lions lost the first one. Give me the Lions in this game. I think they win it.
Give me the Lions in a blowout.
We got your Lions. See win.
In
You see that?
a blowout. Like I
Woo, he
think
said the blowout.
I think they sacked Carson Wentz like 4 or 5 times.
Colts, Jaguars. Colts coming in 0-1. Jaguars 0-1. Give me the Jaguars in this game. I think they get their first win of the season.
Lions will never blow out a team all year.
Who you got?
This is a tough one. Give me the Colts. I didn't see enough from the Jaguars to make me believe that they can beat the Colts.
Again, I saw that game and I saw a lot of it, and I like what I saw from Jacksonville. So I think that they did more than Indianapolis did in their game. So
I think Frank Reich's a better coach, so I think that they're going to be able to figure it out.
Tom Brady has not won a game against the New Orleans Saints since he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks are at home, and they're a 2.5-point dog. Give me the New Orleans Saints. I think they win the game.
They're favorites.
No, New Orleans is a 2.5-point dog. Bucks are 2.5-point favorites.
Sorry, the way you say it.
Give me the New Orleans Saints. I think they win that game.
They're at home, right?
Yep.
No, I think he faces his demons. I think give me Bucks here.
Oh, you think Winston? You think Winston has some troubles and Brady figures it out? Okay.
I think he faces his demons. To give me the Bucks here.
All right, we gotta hurry up. Panthers, Giants. Give me the Giants. I think they go 2-0.
I hate that I agree with you, but yeah, give me the Giants.
All right, Patriots, Steelers. Steelers, easy. I think they go 2-0. I don't think that's Patriots have anything quarterback-wise.
I think that's an easy game. Steelers, Patriots just look bad.
Falcons, Rams. This line is huge, but again, we're not talking about the Lions, but I think the Rams win this game at home and bounce back and even out the season 1-1.
Yeah, give me the Rams here.
Seahawks going to San Francisco. I think this is the bounce back game. I think the Niners win this game. I think Trey Lance looks better, and I think Geno Smith comes back down to earth. Give me the Niners in this game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think the 49ers take this.
Bengals, Cowboys. This one's tough, man, because the Cowboys do not have Dak Prescott. I think the Bengals come in here, figure this out, get it together, figure out that offensive line, win a close one, even though they're favored by 7.5 points. I know it's crazy, but it's still having to go on the road to a hostile Dallas situation. Give me the Bengals winning that game.
All right, real quick, just for everyone. They're missing Javon Curse, Dak Prescott, and Connor McGovern. They all three are out. They're all pivotal to that team. Give me Bengals a lot.
Texans and the Broncos. Broncos coming at home, and they're both have not won a game. I think the Broncos win this one and beat the Texans at home.
I think Broncos win in a close game, actually.
Cardinals, Raiders. Raiders coming back home. Cardinals looked horrible. Raiders looked a little bit better in their game than the Cardinals did, even though the score didn't match that much. Give me the Raiders. I think the Raiders come out, even out the season 1-1. Bears, Packers. You're going to call me crazy. I think the Bears are going to go in there, not smack them, but I think they're going to beat them.
Nope. Give me the Packers.
It's just what I saw from the Packers scared me. I just can't take them right now. Titans, Bills. I can't take the Bills because I got a bet against a buddy of mine that the Bills will not win more than 11 games. So I'm going to go crazy. Give me the Titans in this matchup.
Bills by a lot.
I know. I'm just going the opposite, man. And then we have the the Monday night game. What's that?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, that's the first time this year. There's 2 Monday night games.
They usually do that at the first game of the season, and they didn't, and I was happy about that.
So now they did it for the week
at basically the same time.
4:15
and hour apart. Hour 15 apart.
That's horrible.
And then the final one that we have is the Vikings and the Eagles. I'm just going to do this to make it go bad against you. Give me the Vikings. One thing I will say, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a barn burner. I think we're going to see a lot of points.
I agree with
that. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be a crazy shot here. We're at the final. We're at the end. We broke down everything we wanted to talk about. We're good here.
You got a hot pick of the week? Real quick line?
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to get to now.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you could just put that up on the screen for me real quick, Quan, our sponsorship, Eric Navarro, hooking us up here from Line 'em Up by Eric, 702-884-8138. If not, at IG, Line 'em Up by Eric. If not, download the Booksy app and look up Eric Navarro. He can hook you up, get you cut up, get you ready for your date, your job interview, whatever it may be. Hit him up today. He's sponsoring our Picks of the Week segment. Last week, Ian and I both had the Buffalo Bills. We went with the first week 1 game, the Thursday night game. We had the same thing, which we're not going to do every single week. But last week, that's what we had. This week, we're bringing in Jay, and Jay's going to also give us his pick. I'll let you go first, my man.
All right, my first pick is going to be, or my hot pick is going to be the Steelers.
Okay.
I absolutely hated what I saw from the Patriots. Their O-line is garbage. Their receivers are garbage. Like, they're just going to be bad. You can only overcome so much just by coaching, and the Steelers have the personnel to smack down the Patriots, I think.
All right, so you are taking the Steelers?
Yeah, Steelers +2 against the Patriots. Also, the Steelers are at home.
You're right. It is Steelers +2 at home, plus the Patriots. We'll lock that in. We'll get it set up. Joel, what you got, my guy?
I'm going to go with just because I've just been low key a fan of the Buccaneers and what they've got going on and stuff.
Ooh, I love it.
Minus 2.5.
So you got the Bucks minus 2.5?
Yeah.
My guy, thank you. With that being said, give me the Saints at plus 2.5 at home. If you're a money line bettor, take them on the money line. They're only plus 110. It's not a big money line, but I think the Saints will continue to haunt Tom Brady and give him another L against this team. Tom Brady hasn't won. I'm going to ride the streak. I'm going to take it. You know me, I'm a Jets fan, so anytime I can go against Tom Brady, I will. Who will be undefeated next week? Who will be 1-1? Or will we both be 1-1? It's yet to be seen. Till next week, for Jose V, EMB, Jay Madrazos, Quan59, for our sponsor, Eric Navarro, you have been tuned into another episode of Straight Bet Sports live here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. We'll see you next Wednesday. We are out. Peace.
Later.